Happy Saturday, pipe smokers. This is Paul the Pipe Guy, live from Rochester, New York, in the United States of America, and welcome to our Saturday afternoon smoke together. And I will be smoking this beautiful Dublin edition, sandblasted, bowl number 606. It's got to be an inch and a quarter wide. The walls are more than a quarter of an inch thick, and it's about 6 inches long or so, 6.5 inches long. Just a wonderful pipe to smoke. I have two 606s, and in it we're going to be smoking our Sutliff Sunset Rum. Ooh, and this is really good. The smell is unbelievable. It has bright Virginias in it, some mild Burleys, some zesty black Cavendish, topped off with soaked in rum, and it also has some additives, some vanilla additives and caramel additives, and it is just to die for. I love these Sutliff rum blends, so let's light it up. And by the way, with this Sunset rum, I would recommend spreading it out on like a cutting board, letting it sit for 10, 15, 20 minutes before you load your bowl. It is a pretty moist blend, but I didn't do that, so I'll probably be constantly relighting. Just a phenomenal blend. Very silky smooth. Just a really good blend. So we've gone kind of from, originally I started smoking, that's all I smoked for about a year, year and a half, was Captain Black Cherry Aromatic. Went from that to some other blends, some Latakia blends, now into some rum blends. There we go. So I had to work 6 a.m. this morning till 11, which put me at 50 hours for the week. But took some money out of the bank today and saw the receipt in my balance. I was like, oh, nice. I didn't expect it to be that high. Isn't that always a nice thing? So today we had actually a fairly good size concrete landscape edging curbing job scheduled, and I talked to the owner. He's a VIP, very important person. I've done a lot of work for the entire family, and they actually own the facility shop that I work in amongst a bunch of other businesses. And so the father, who's in his 70s, called me yesterday, are we still on for tomorrow for the job? And I was like, well, I've been watching the weather all week. We got a 40 to 50% chance of rain. I got to have like almost a 0% chance of rain because that job's going to take me all day. He's like, wait a minute, it's not going to rain tomorrow. Hold on, let me look on my phone. Has me on hold for like 10 minutes. I got beads of sweat forming on my forehead because this guy is the father of the guy that owns the company I work for, and I've done so much work and he wanted that job done today. He's like, no, I'm showing it's going to be clear all the way through the whole weekend into Monday. Finally, I said, John, I just don't feel comfortable doing the job. Everything I've looked at, and I've done this a long time, if we get one black thundercloud that comes over, even if it only rains for 5 minutes, it's going to destroy the whole concrete job. I'm going to have to tear it all out. The rain hits the damp concrete and puts like a little splash mark in the surface of the concrete, so it basically looks like the surface of the moon with a little pox all over it. And he's like, well, let's just cover it with plastic. I says, well, I've tried that before. I said, what happens with colored concrete? You put plastic on it, and it pulls up the color in different areas, so it's going to look all blotchy. He's like, I don't see why we can't do it tomorrow. And I says, John, I just don't feel comfortable doing it. I'm the one that has to tear it out if it rains. Well, got up this morning at 5 o'clock. It was raining. Tapered off a bit. Around 9 o'clock, she started raining pretty darn good. Tapered off. Around 10 o'clock or so, it started raining pretty good again, which right then and there we'd have been laying concrete. And now it's raining pretty good. I felt like texting him and saying, good thing we didn't do that job today, but I don't want to press my luck. He was trying to tell me it was going to be all clear. We might have a chance of thunder showers at night. And I just said, look, it's going to be an all-day job, and it's got to dry for 3 hours before rain hits it. Well, he wasn't too happy. He was like, well, when can we do it? I said, well, I got to talk to your son, Jim, because he's got me scheduled for the next 2-3 Saturdays in a row. And there ain't enough time in the day to get out of work for your son at 11 o'clock, go home, pick up my equipment, pick up my concrete, sand. Won't be on the job till 1 o'clock. Be working at dark. I don't like to do that anymore. Yeah. Sunset rum, this is just awesome. Sutliff. Just great. I bought a whole pound of that. So I've got Sunset rum, I've got Burma Road, which is by Sutliff. That's a rum-based, vanilla-based. And then I got, I don't know, another pound of rum-based stuff. So I got 3 pounds of Sutliff rum-based stuff, blends. So my girl's coming over with her son. I got some really nice steaks we're going to put on the grill. This kid, he's 22 years old, he's 6'5", thin as a beanstalk. This kid can eat. Well, I bought him a steak like he's never had before. It's 1.5 pounds. Yeah, T-bone steak, 1.5 pounds. The thing is freaking 1.5 inches thick. Wait till he sees that steak. Cost me like $16-17 for one steak. Price of meat's gone way up. So we did Thirsty Thursday. I got, some thumbs up, but not a lot of comments. I got one comment from one of my subscribers, and he's like, Mr. Gilson, I think it's time you do a giveaway. Which I would imagine that involves giving something away, but I'm not sure on all the details. Ah, this is good. So how was everyone's week? Mine was full of work. Worked 6:30 till 4 o'clock every day. Leave the house at 6 o'clock. Get home at 4:30. It's 10 and a half hours. Yeah. But I was surprised when I saw the bank account receipt after I took $500 out. I was like, whoa. Thank you, God. I don't have a heck of a lot of money, but I do have a checking account. I have an emergency fund. I have, in the past year, spent an astronomical amount of money on pipes and tobacco, though. Gosh. Last year and a half comes to the tune of about 10 grand. That's a lot of money on pipes and tobacco. I have more than enough to last me the rest of my life. I bet I got 35, 40 pounds of tobacco easily. Probably 70 different blends. Does one need more? Yeah, there's 2 other blends that I want to try. I can't remember what the one is, but the other one is Squadron Leader. And that has been sold out everywhere for the longest time. Can anybody offer up to me a good plug tobacco? Not crumble cake, but good plug tobacco that's got Latakia in it. Yeah. I already have a few. There's something about taking that plug out and cutting it. It's just so rewarding. Rubbing it out. So it's cool. On Saturdays when we work, it's usually like a skeleton crew, if you're one of the chosen ones to work a Saturday. And it's all overtime, so for me it's $28.50 an hour. And they turn a blind eye to smoking in the factory. Yeah. Because there's probably only 15 people there, where normally there's 100, so everybody's all spread out. So there ain't nobody working near me, so if I want a cigarette, I just spark up. Don't even need to go outside. Sometimes they'll bring a pipe. It's just smoking a pipe at work is just not as relaxing as sitting in your living room or on your front porch, because you know you have work to do. I mean, with a cigarette, you just smoke your cigarette and you're done with it. With a pipe, you could be looking at, half hour, 45-minute commitment. But I've done it where I'll sit down and smoke it for 5 minutes or so. Just not as gratifying. Yeah, them clouds are dark out there. Good thing we didn't. I never let anyone control being my weatherman with my business. Never. Because they all want to get the job done, but they're not the one on the hook. If it starts pouring rain and it pummels the job and I got to tear it out. Nobody of my employees aren't on the hook. Customer's not on the hook. Nobody's on the hook. I'm the only one on the hook. You get a 200-foot job laid down and that gets pummeled, right there, that cost you $3,000 between labor, tearing it back out, disposal. You got to do the job over. Your employees expect to get paid still. Can't blame them. I mean, between the products that I have to buy to do it, supplies. So you come out working 2 days in a row and make nothing. That's why I'm so careful. We had a job years ago. It was a big job. It was 500 foot long. It went all the way around the guy's house, plus a couple of other garden beds he had. And all day long, the thunder and lightning was like just going around us. It was circling around us. Didn't come through. And I said, Dad, we need to stop right now and come back and finish this job. Because we've had really fortunate luck so far that storm is just circling around us. No, we're going to get it done. 550 feet. And the guy wanted it brick red, really, really red. My mother's tells my father, Jim, you better listen to your son. He's like, no, I already prayed over it. It's not going to rain or anything. Well, in my opinion, God does answer prayers, but he also gives you the knowledge to know when to stop. Okay? He was holding things off for us, all right? And when I said, look, God's telling us we need to pack up and get the heck out of here and come back and finish it. We got 50 feet away from getting that job done. And when I tell you the clouds let loose and thunder and lightning, it was like the second coming of Jesus Christ. It poured harder than I have ever seen it rain ever in my life. There was thunder and lightning coming down everywhere. And in this complex, they had a water drainage system for when it rained, and it went out into a pond. Well, this guy's backyard backed up to that pond. It was a big pond, real big. And so all the excess drainage for the whole community in there, the whole neighborhood, went into this pond. And it rained so hard for an hour. We were standing in this guy's garage that the water in the pond came up 40 feet into this guy's backyard. The water level must have raised a foot and a half, 2 feet to come up that far in that guy's backyard. And we had a wheelbarrow of concrete, 300 pounds of concrete, blood red, sitting there, and that's overflowing, going into the sewer system, and it turned the whole pond red. Oh, God. My mom's like, Jim, see, you should have listened to your son. Pummeled the whole job. We had to come back a couple days later, tear out everything. Filled up a huge trailer full of busted up concrete. They had to dispose of it. I don't remember where we got rid of it at. And had to start all over. That sucked. This is burning real good now. I don't know, I've been doing this concrete curbing stuff. We used to do it full time. I've been doing it for 19 years now. And I'm just tired of it. Having to dance around the rain, you're out at night doing estimates, you're doing installs all day, you're basically working 7 days a week, scheduling people, picking up materials. And now, after my last son passed away, he was our finisher. Now I have to do the finishing, so I'm running the machine and putting the curbing down as my other son shoveling it into the machine, which a plunger pushes it out this form. Then we have to stop, I have to finish it, stamp it, and it takes twice as long, and I'm just about done. I got a landscaper that is willing to buy the phone number for about 30, 40 grand. I might just take him up on that and just be done. I'm already working 50 hours a week, which, at that, it's paying me a pretty good wage. I'm not getting rich, but I'll make $1,000 a week doing that. That won't get you rich, but I only have $700 a month in bills. So you take 52 to 55,000, deduct out a little for taxes, and $8,400 a year in bills. So you can do I can do okay on that. It's not the money I care about anymore. I mean, I can go out on a Saturday, on a good Saturday with my business, and make $1,500 after I pay my guys and supplies and everything. Just I'm going to be 57, as you guys know, and I think the working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, I'm done with that. I just the money, the time off is more important than the money. I mean, you figure in just a little more than 13 years, I'll be 70 years old. Back when I was 35, 40 years old, well, all the way through my 20s and 30s, even into my 40s, I was chasing that almighty buck. I had to. I had a family of freaking 12. 10 kids and me and my wife. They're all grown up now. I don't need it. think it's time for a sip of Paul the Pipe Guy's favorite adult beverage, Busch beer. Cheers, everyone. By the way, this Sunset rum, definitely an all-day smoke. It's really, really good. I mean, it does pack a little bit of a punch, but nothing that you can't handle. So, a little word to the wise. So, if you're going to soak your pipes, if you're going to do a salt treatment, salt/alcohol treatment to deghost your pipe, or if you're just going to soak it in alcohol. Now, with these K-Woodies, you don't need to do this, all right? You can just put them back together. They screw in. But you take something like my Dr. Graybow, which basically has a push-in tenon. So what happens is when you soak this in alcohol and salt, it expands the wood in the briar. So when you go to put your stem back in, don't do it when it's wet. Let it dry for 3-4 days. Because that wood has expanded. You go to push this in there, all right, that wood's not going to be able to shrink back to where it was. And then all of a sudden you're going to have a real loose stem. So just let that briar dry out real good, 3-4 days. If you're going to do any sort of salt treatment to deghost your pipe, or if you want to just soak them in alcohol. Sometimes I do that. I mean, you don't immerse them. You take some cellophane, put it over a Q-tip, and then press it up in there so it's watertight. And then you just let it sit for 24 hours. So, yeah, you got to be careful doing that. I learned the hard way on one of my Canadian pipes. Now the stem fits a little looser than it was. It's not like it's fallen out or anything. But, see, now I've been smoking this pipe pretty good. And she's a little bit warm, but it's not hot. I love these thick walls on this 606. Real thick walls. That's got to be close to 1/2 inch. It's not quite a 1/2 inch thick on the walls, but they're thick. My gosh, I've been talking for 28 minutes already. Well, I hope you folks enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to finish up this bowl and load another. Maybe I'll do the buttered rum next. Anyways, thanks for having a Saturday smoke with me. I'm Paul the Pipe Guy, live from Rochester, New York. Happy pipe smoking, pipe smokers. Over and out.